Hello, welcome back. Right, today I thought take a look at 720 Degrees, the skateboarding simulation arcade conversion from US Gold for the Amstrad CPC Spectrum Commodore 64, not necessarily in that order. It's of course based on the Atari coin-op, which I never ever saw or played, but I have obviously on YouTube, etc. Seen it. Now, I owned this game back in the day on the Spectrum. I didn't play it a great deal, but I remember it came with an audio cassette of the arcade music. The idea being you popped that in your tape deck, whacked it on full blast, and it was supposed to give you the arcade experience whilst you played your particular home version. Now, it was a game that hadn't been on my radar to cover at all. I've not seen, heard or thought of it apart from occasionally, and literally for about 10 minutes on YouTube while I was just looking it up just before I started this. It was a game I'd sort of almost completely forgotten about really, until Mark Taylor on YouTube the other day requested that I take a look at it, and I thought, why not? Now, usually with requests I'm absolutely hopeless. I have a list of stuff that I want to do first, and with the best intentions, I never write anything down, so I always forget things, but this time, you know, it's still in my memory. So Mark Taylor, thank you ever so much for suggesting that I cover this game. And as an interesting aside, those of you of a certain vintage like myself might remember in the mid to sort of like late 80s on BBC One in the sort of late afternoons, early evenings, was a school kids quiz program called First Class, hosted by the lovely Debbie Greenwood. Now, why it sticks out in my mind, apart from the lovely Debbie Greenwood, is that there was a segment in the game which was an arcade game challenge where they'd select a participant from each opposing team, and they'd compete against each other, kind of like a high score fastest time challenge. And the games they used to utilise for that were Paperboy, Hyper Sports and 720. Now, if I've missed any others out, if they used any more, then please let me know. I'm just pulling that out the top of my head. Right, so it's not going to be anything fantastic or in-depth, etc. It's not that kind of game anyway. Skateboarding games, I don't recall playing an awful lot of them back in the day. I did like the Tony Hawk's games, the first few on the PlayStation 2, Dreamcast, etc. But I don't recall playing many other than this on the Spectrum. There was, again, pulling stuff off the top of my head, the half-pipe section in California games, but the Spectrum version of that was so woeful compared to its predecessor, Winter Games, that I was extremely disappointed with it, and I never really played it that much. So until like the day after I bought it, it remains unplayed to this day. The Spectrum version of California Games, that disappointing. So anyway, let's get into it. It's just to compare strengths and weaknesses, differences, similarities, etc. And just to have a discussion about the game, whether we liked it, whether we loathed it. Okay, see you in a sec. Okay, so here we go, getting the Amstrad version of 720 Degrees going. Right, for those of you that don't know it, game takes place in a skate park, Skate City it's called. Skate City itself serves as kind of like a central hub. And from there you've got to go into various different skate parks, jump parks, slalom park, ramps, and a downhill section. In order to do so, you have to obtain enough tickets to be able to gain your entry to those parks, and you do that by getting enough points to accumulate the tickets. Now, you can't fanny around too much because if you'll see in the top right there is a timer. If that runs down and becomes empty, then you get chased by a swarm of killer bees, which then turns into a killer skull. Really pain in the arse when that happens. If you remember, if you ever played Desert Strike on the Mega Drive or SNES or whatever, then you'll know what I mean. If you tried to fly off the map, you got sunk by a submarine, I think it was. Right, okay, so here we go. Now, this is actually quite a small playing area. Again, as you can see, I've actually got this zoomed in quite a bit. But let's have a look. There's some nice use of colour. So press fire. I'm having to play this with joystick. I apologise. Now, there's me. Not much in the way of sounds, etc. Because, oh, I've fallen off the bleeding thing already. Just some spot effects when you sort of jump, etc. Now, by going to these places here, I can buy various bits and pieces, which let me improve my performance. I bought a hat there. Various hazards, as you can see, like idiots dancing and men in their Speedos in the middle of the floor. So here I'm in the downhill park, and I've got to go all the way. Oh, fuck me, I've jumped the wrong way. Ah! Shit. Complete this in as quick a time as possible. Oh dear, that's not going to happen, is it? In order to, and I'm awarded sort of a medal at the end based on how quickly I sort of complete the level, or I don't. And as you go through the levels, they get more and more sort of complex. But as you can see, I just got a bronze medal there. Now, graphically, it's all right. It's not bad. It's not brilliant either. There's some nice use of colour there. But like I say, the playing window is quite small. Now it's... oh, fuck me. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I didn't mean that. The playing window is quite small. And you get awarded points for various tricks. Now you can see my timer is ticking down there. Now I want to try and get up to about 5,000 points, I think it is. These things are dollars that I can pick up. People carelessly leave their money lying around in skate park. I don't think I've got... Yeah, I've got 2 tickets left. I've got 1 ticket left after this. Right, so I've got to go and sort of make... oh, I was never any good at this one. I'm not doing anything here. Not getting any points. Ah! I'm not going to get a medal on this. You know, the animation and the character's all right. Colouring in this particular section is a bit baldy. Even though a display of crapness, I got $75. Wow, and a silver medal. Right, so I've got to try and find the other ones. Let's go and try and buy some stuff. I was going to say let's go and try and buy some gear. But I wouldn't be espousing that at all. Right, so I've got $161. Oh, now it controls all right. Bearing in mind I'm shit with joysticks. It's not too bad. But it's a game that, you know, doesn't really sort of like set the world alight, I don't think. Obviously, it's way cut down from the... arcade version, as you would expect. There's a swarm of bees. Oh, I'm knackered. Unless I can get into one of the parks up here. Now you can see I've just passed 5,000 points, and I've got another ticket, which means I can get into another park. The tickets are donated by that number 2. Don't go that way. Whoa, see your pants stuff here, Bez. Oh, hurry to park. I'm trying to. I think they turn into a skull if I'm not careful. Oh, that was bloody close. Right, so here I've got to not jump off it and land in the water. Oh, no! Which I did just there. And I've just... Oh, for God's sake. Ah! Come on, you can do this, Baz, before you run out of time. No, oh, for God's sake. I failed to qualify. There's a bleeding surprise. Right, so... let's see what I can buy from the shop. They've given me something to do with my skateboard there. Oh, hang on, I'm going the wrong way. I've still got 1 ticket I can use. So let's go and try and find somewhere I can use it. Didn't fall off there. And I've got a hat. I've got a nice hat. Look, I'm wearing a nice, lovely hat now. Oh. Like, I mean, you know I don't... Oh, for God, here we go again. I don't really like playing with... Get out of the way, Mr. Pants and Mr. Silly Dance. Looks like Mario dressed like that. A skinny Mario. Right. I should have 1 life left. Let's see if I can... Is there a park down... There's a park down here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Whoa. Right. Ah, I've done it again. Whoops. Right, so this is the slalom park. Let's see how I can do on this. Now, the joystick controls are actually quite responsive. And that's saying something for me, bear in mind how abysmal I am with them. And I got a bronze, purely because I went for a swim. Right, that literally is just a quick taster of the Amstrad version of 720 degrees. So let's see what it's like on the Commodore 64. Alright, okay, welcome back. Now we have the Commodore 64 version. Now, I warn you now, I've tried playing this and I'm absolutely, utterly hideous at it. So it's not the game's fault, this is me. Right, let's see how this is different. Again, having to play with joysticks. So already you can see from the Amstrad version, we've got this kind of sort of central sort of like map screen, which I don't recall being in the Amstrad version. It's not to say that it wasn't, I just never saw it. It obviously runs a lot smoother and the playing area is significantly bigger. The graphics are okay, they're chunky, decent enough. And now I'm in the sort of skate park thing and I fucking hate this. I'm kind of stuck on a... Oh! Right, let's go back. I'm not going to get a medal here, so I'm not even going to try. These levels seem much longer than they did on the Amstrad. This is only the bronze... Oh, my God. The bronze level, if you like. Ooh! For God's sake. The joystick control is a lot twitchier. Or a lot more sensitive than it was than we saw in the Amstrad. Now, I also apologise again for the quality of the display being shown on the Commodore 64 version here. I've addressed that sort of several times. I'm trying to address it via other means as well, which hopefully... Oh my God! Right, okay, come on. So yeah, and the big difference, apart from the sort of size of the graphics, etc., and the size of the playing area, is of course the music. So I've got a hot helmet. Right, okay, that's full of innuendo. Right, oh shit, right, okay. Now, I've not worked this bit out at all. I'm in the skate park, the sort of ramp. Now, what do I have to do? Do I have to... I have to avoid falling off. Right, come on. Ah, for God's sake. See, this is why I never did skateboarding. I'm absolutely hopeless at it. Many a grazed knee there. Come on, sunshine. Ah. Oh, for God's sake. Is that a surprise? I failed to qualify. So, Commodore 64 fans, your memories of the game. It's got some really good music. There's Mr. Muscly. Oh, two of them. Look at that. Look at them giving it some. With their hairy chests. Now, oh, for God's sake. Like I said, I don't know the arcade game of 720 degrees. Ooh. And having two blokes having a punch up there, is that? Yep. What's in here? Oh, I can't go in there, can I? Oh, yes, I can. Right, what's this? Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Oh, that's going to end badly. Oh. Oh, no, only just... Oh, where am I? Ah, come on! Ah! Haha. It's quite entertaining. Oh, for God's sake. In a way. But the... yeah, the joystick controls are a hell of a lot more sensitive than they were on the Amstrad. And I suppose... Ah! I took my hand off. And I suppose that, you know, makes for a more challenging game. And it's me that is the problem, not the game. Oh. I don't really think that I've managed to play this game sort of well enough to give a decent enough impression of it to you all. But it isn't a bad game at all. Again, it's not one that I think I would sort of return to anytime soon. But as arcade conversions go, you know, it's not one of the stinkers. Not by a long shot. It's just my gameplay that's absolutely abysmal on this. Right, I think I've shown you what I can on the Commodore 64. let's go to the Spectrum. Okay, right, Spectrum version. You're going to find that this is, as I said at the top, it's the version that I'm the most familiar with, but it's the version that you're going to see my affinity for using keyboard control actually conspires against me in this, because it being an isometric game, it's a tad difficult, especially when you're up against it. So the keys are Q, W, clockwise, anti-clockwise, J for jump, and K for kick for your, well, you're kicking, and X quits you back to this main menu. So my +2 joystick doesn't work very well, so I've decided to sort of go for it. So here I go, that's me there, and I don't remember this bit from the Amstrad, or it was in the C64 level. I don't remember it being in the Amstrad level. Sorry, versions. Right, so that's me. Oh, I'm skating backwards. Good trick if you can do it. Now, you can see, because I'm playing it on this sort of advanced level, there's oh, that was a mistake to try and sort of jump that. There's an awful lot more sort of in the way of enemies to sort of negotiate and hazards to clear. Let's try and get somewhere. Oh, 2 muscle men. So where's here? Oh, have I come? Oh, bloody hell! I've got 3 tickets so far. Right, and right, yeah, I know that. Right, what have I bought? What have I bought? I've bought a hat. Yay! Right, and now the bees are after me. Not the bees! Oh, fuck me! If the bees don't get you, the bike does. Bloody cyclists. Right, okay, so I've got 2 credits left. Let's go and try and win some stuff. Oh, no, hang on. Whoa. Ah, right, okay. Whoa. Started to mean to go on. Oh, started to mean to go on, Baz. Like I say, as you can see, the... Oh. Now, like I say, I never remember this game being not fun. I just remember it being sort of like not particularly something that I sort of found myself coming back to time and time again. But you, of course, may be different. You may have really enjoyed this game. I don't remember performing much better than I am here 30 years later. So, you know, that is most probably my fault more than the game's. No sale because I've already bought something from her, haven't I? Yeah, all right. Come on, let me out. Let me out then. And I sort of crashed it. Yes, okay. Yep, all right. Got ya. Right. Ah. But the graphics are nice and sort of clear, and the floor uses that kind of sort of style, that sort of polka dot style that you saw in things like The Great Escape, I do believe, and Time Stood Still. I might... Hey, I might be wrong. I'm in the ramp park now. Now, I was always shit at this. I don't really know what I'm doing. But the animation on it all seems good. And it moves at a decent enough speed. But as you've seen, as the game sort of goes on, it's slightly sort of jerky. But nothing that sort of breaks the game. What breaks the game is me being absolutely shit at it. But hey-ho. Right. Okay, now... Like I said, you can, every 5,000 points you get an extra ticket, and if I can buy a better skateboard, I can jump sort of higher and further and longer and earn more money to buy things with. Oh, bastard skateboard, cyclists. Menace, they're a menace. Right, what have I bought there? I've got some nice shoes. Don't know what the shoes help me do. Right, help me go faster. I don't know. Let's have a look. Not particularly. Ah! Oh, but as you can see, sorry, as you can hear, it's sort of like quite sparse sounds-wise. Now, there is some really nice detail in the graphics. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! I don't want to go that way. I already made that mistake. Oh, does that count? Does that count? That probably don't count. Ah, come on! Oh, 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 I got a gold. Fuck me, the others must have been really shit. Right, okay, come on, come on. Now I've got the lights turned off, so I can't work out where the keys are. Right, okay, there we go. Get out of his way. So there we go. There's just a sort of quick go of the Spectrum version of 720 degrees. So let's go to the outro. Okay, so there we go. That was 3 versions of 720 degrees from US Gold for the Amstrad, Commodore 64 and Spectrum. Now I've done some videos with some hideous gameplay in them before, but that one must be up there taking the biscuit with it, because I don't really feel I was able to sort of do justice to the game, especially on the Commodore 64 and the Spectrum versions. The Commodore 64, I'm not going to make excuses for the control system and stuff. That was down to me. I'd just come off playing, not going to make excuses, he says, and then goes and makes an excuse. I'd literally just come off playing the Amstrad version, and you could see the differences in speed, etc. with the two of them. So my use of the controls was a bit heavy-handed, and as such I found the game quite difficult. My fault, not the games. The Spectrum version is the one I remember. So the Amstrad version seemed to be cut down, seemed to be missing a few things. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, it may just be the version that I downloaded. But there didn't seem to be the sort of map level select thing at the start, where you got the advanced level or the training level. And again, it was played in a fairly small window on the screen, as was the Spectrum version. The Commodore version gave us a wider view of things. Sound-wise, yeah, you have to say the Commodore 64 with its music, etc. Although I found it a bit grating after a while, compared to the Spectrum and Amstrad, they just had spot effects, effective spot effects. But the graphics on the Amstrad and the Spectrum version were much clearer. I think the Spectrum were the clearest of the 3. Slightly jerky scrolling on both the Spectrum and the Amstrad, but like I said, I mean, it's not the world's worst arcade conversions. There were some absolute stinkers, and 720 degrees is by no means anywhere near that. Is it my favourite game of all time? Would I go out my way to play it again? Probably not, but that doesn't mean to say that I don't recognise that some people did enjoy it. Anyway, like I say, that was, you know, woeful even by my standards, but hopefully I've shown you, you know, as much of the game as possible, as to be able to at least allow you to sort of differentiate between the 3 and see some of the weaknesses and differences. But if for some strange reason you like the video, please let me know, and if you wish to subscribe, please do so. But if you do subscribe, please, please, please take the time to join the conversation. It's what it's all about. See you later.